should come to the workshop. It's well, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really tell a lot of people about the workshop. I should because it's paying it forward, but I'm stingy. What I learned from you, it's like, I don't want to share it with everybody because you got to pay your money to get in and it's not free. Don't come asking me. What I taught, I put in the hard time, I paid the money. What I learned and made my company grow, you're going to have to pay the money too. I can tell you that the world's gold, but guess what? If you can't make that commitment and go see Doug, it's going to be white and vanilla the rest of your life. You know, you have to want to do this. And you've got to take the plunge. If it's a risk, business is a risk. There's no risk, there's no reward. You just got to man up and do it. And if you want to grow, you pay the money and come here. And it pays itself off. It paid itself off. I was telling her, we were driving home, I said, I'm trying to figure if it paid off 100 or 1,000 times over what I initially, and I'm hung up because
it's a lot more valuable than what you invested to get in, right? Now, Joe, you drug Carol all the way down here to Austin, Texas, after having been here yourself for 3 days. You even asked us questions about whether or not we covered that in the previous workshop, some of which maybe we didn't cover, but some of which we knew that we had. So what was the real reason why you came back?
One of the biggest reasons that I came back was the first workshop that I got out of it was how to get my own bonding. And it kind of launched my company in terms of supporting what I know how to do best, which is going out, creating relationships and selling. And you can sell all you want if you don't have any bonding. You can't do any work.
Yeah.
And I think it complemented my sales ability and the hard work that got me where I am. By coming to this seminar, it made me grow as a company and as a person. Why I came back to this is I've done a lot of marketing with my company. We're growing at an exponential rate. And I wanted to come back to be able to get more information than the first time I came back, which was kind of bonding. I needed to get more bonding. Like you touched on, you said, did you teach that? I said to you, did you teach that in the first class? Well, you probably did teach it in the first class, but I was just so concerned and engrossed on what I came here, what my biggest problem was.
Right.
Now what I've learned is how to navigate, because I rely a lot on sole source. That's primarily a day hub zone contractor, and I very rarely bid competitive work. Now I have a more comfortable feeling that I can bid small business. Carol comes to me all the time, Joe, let's bid this, 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 and this. And I'm like, no, let's stay save, and just bid the sole source work that we have. Knowing what the RFQ and what you can do with the RFP and RFQ doesn't hold your feet to the fire. It kind of limits the liability of making a mistake and going back and fixing if you made a mistake, or verifying, or trying to negotiate like you do it in 8A. I never knew that. And that's a very valuable piece, because her and I had a discussion that, you know, let's start off slow. We can bid these smaller jobs now, and we can hit these, because before we were doing kind of what they, you know, I was working as an MBE contractor for local companies. I want to get out of that. You know, I want to be able to supplement that income in general construction.
Right.
This seminar gave me the confidence in the ability to learn how to dabble, and actually I know what a big tractor does now. Before I just looked at a big tractor and it was just a bunch of jobs, but now I know what the RFQ means, and RFP, and I can actually consciously look at it and know, well, we can look at it, download the specs and plans, look at it, and kind of feel where a number needs to be and throw it out the door and have confidence knowing if it gets awarded. We can go back and double check our number,
Right.
and make sure we're covered.
Right.
And that's huge. And I didn't get that out of the first seminar because I thought, you know, I just need bonding. So as we're growing, this helped me, and it helped. I wanted to bring Carol because I think it gets rid of, like what Carol says, the hiccups of what we're going through now. I mean, you're going through a growth of 1 to 10. I'm growing at a rate of 8.
Right.
And it's not an easy feat to do, but knowing when you come to the workshop and when you leave, because now this is my second time, I know the valuable skills that you've brought to me to save me on a couple of my jobs.
Right.
It only can help me in the future.
Well, that's good. So, the first time you came here, you came by yourself.
Yes.
And one of the things I asked you at the end of the workshop was, what's the most important thing that you got out of it and what you needed? And it was the focus, in a perfect world, I'd have a lot more bonding. I said, how much would that be? You said 15 million. And I said, here's how to get it within, I think you can do that in 90 days, which I think shocked you, that somebody would say you can get $15 million in 90 days. Yet you actually accomplished it by doing it exactly what we laid out for you, and you did it in less than 60 days. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that experience.
Just learning the process of what you taught, of going out and getting a bonding company that believes in you and understands in what you're trying to do. You know, I was looking under the wrong rocks. I was looking at different things that I didn't know were apparent to what you taught us.
Right.
So what you taught us was invaluable, what I learned. And when I went to my bonding guy, I told him exactly what you said. And I said, I need a bonding letter. And he threw a bonding letter at me and said, here's your bonding, 5 million, 15 million in bonding. Blew me off my chair. But, you know, bonding, just people think bonding, you can come to the workshop. Bonding also has to, you have to have good credit. You know, you've got to, they look at everything. Good thing I had everything in line, but well, coming here, I know, you know, coming here, I found the solution of how to get bonding.
Yes. So now that we got over the bonding deal, you went out there, you experienced some hyper growth, some challenges along that process. In fact, I think when you actually left the workshop, you had the day after you left the workshop, on that Monday, you said something about, I know now I can make a phone call and fix a problem I have. I think it was 2,500 hours worth of 7,500 hours. It's like you made $5 grand in a phone call or something.
Yes, yes, I did.
And that was just from something you learned here.
Yes.
But since that, it's turned into how many millions of dollars in contracts?
We're doing, we probably have on the books 4 or 5 million contracts.
And how many did you have before you came to the workshop the first time?
160, 250,000 worth.
From 250,000 to nearly $5 million in 1 year. All because of what you learned the first time around. Now you're ready to go, what's your next level? What's your goal over the next year? Now that you know all this new stuff.
Depending on cash flow, it's so overwhelming, the growth that you experience. It's hard to keep growing. I would like to do 12 million. Her and I talk about it all the time. We think we can do 12 million this year. It's just tough to be able to have that infrastructure and have the processes in place. But like I said, now that Carol's come here and we both came back for a second time, it's going to help us more than if we didn't come.
Well, that's one of the things we say is we always want 2 people, because we find from our experience looking out at people who come to the workshop, if we can get 2 people working together and with their shared knowledge, all her backgrounds you already have, your sales ability, and then using our tools with it, there's no limit. Hey, I really appreciate you here. You know we're on your team.
You're foolish if you don't come. And just go ahead and pull the trigger. You got nothing to lose. You really don't.